Hi, Sid Padinti here, the founder of Small Business Growth Program. Thank you for being here. I welcome you to this web training session. By now, hopefully you've had a chance to go ahead and download the worksheet that I've emailed to you. You should find it in your email inbox or spam, or even if you're in the Facebook group by now, hopefully you've joined, you should find it there as well. Okay, so take a minute to pull that up, and we're going to walk you through this and help you design a business that's going to be recession proof. So this next web training session, it's I designed it to be between 60 and 90 minutes long. We may have some time for Q&As in the end. However, what I've done is, we've been running these workshops for a long time. I've taken a list of all the questions that people have asked us prior to this, and we'll be answering this during the course of the web training session for you. If you have any of the questions, if you need this copy, if you need something else answered in your business, feel free to just go ahead and shoot us an email, give us a call, or join us in our Facebook community and ask our questions there. I'm there every single day, hanging out and helping people advance their businesses, propel them forward. So feel free to connect with us, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. So, what is a recession-proof business, right? Before we get into that, let me just give you what you can expect out of this web training session today. Number one, I want to try and not teach, but rather have you implement, because quite frankly, nobody needs to learn more things, right? We already have all the information that we possibly could ever need. So I rather help you implement some of the information that you may already know, that you may have thought about, or may not know, and how to do that the best way possible is to be interactive. So I'll pause, I'll ask questions during the course of this web training session, and if you have any questions for us, feel free to interact with us and answer these in your business as you go along. It's going to be fast paced. I hope that's okay. I'm going to speak at the current pace and sometimes speed up, sometimes slow down. If you have any questions regarding some of the things I cover that you don't understand, that you need no emphasis on, feel free to ask us towards the end if there's a question answer format, like I said, or in the Facebook private community group. We're always more than happy to help you. So in this web training session, what I want to do is help you design a recession-proof business. And the approach that I want you to take is similar to that of what I do when I have a client in my law firm, right? Or what you do, for example, when you go to the doctor or when you go to the dentist. Similar procedure. Before we dig too deep in, I want to make sure we diagnose your business. Make sure you have all the elements and all the components and all the strategies and tools that you need so you're recession proof, or at least on your way to become there, right? Second, once we do the diagnosis, we're going to go ahead and prescribe certain solutions that will help you become a bit more structured, a bit more organized, and operate your business in a way that is profitable, right? Lastly, once we've done these prescriptions, it's time to roll up our sleeves and drill and fill, as they say. And so, if that's okay with you, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'm Sid Padinti. I'm the founder here. My background is I'm a Los Angeles-based business attorney. I manage one of the premium law firms here in Los Angeles called California Law Services, a business law firm. I'm also a technology entrepreneur. I have my own technology, and deal with many technologies in my businesses. I'll be showing you some of the things that we're working on and some of the partners that we're affiliated with, and some of the things that we're trying to solve as we figure out things in the business place ourselves in terms of metrics, in terms of gaps in the market that we find, or certain things that we want to address. And lastly, I've been a bankruptcy and business restructuring strategist for almost 10 years. Well, actually, it's over 10 years, since 2006. And one of the things that I focus on is helping business owners really understand the nitty gritty of the business, to understand the deep dive metrics in terms of what's causing problems and what they can do in terms of fixing it. Before we proceed, I'd like to say that there's no legal advice contained in this presentation, in the Small Business Growth Program, or in any of the conversations that we're going to have specifically to deal with these topics. And also the results that we talk about. We're going to show you some case studies, but keep in mind results vary. What we're showing you are the strategies, the tools, the systems, but chances are things are not going to be the same. Business relies on various factors. So ask yourself, what is a recession-proof business, right? Let's start at the basics 101. You have one that is uh, strong in its foundation, it's unaffected by the economy, it's profitable and sustainable, it's agile and adaptive to the market, right? As the market moves, you're able to pivot. Assets are protected and risks are mitigated. How many business owners lose property, value, intellectual things that they've invested in, capital they've invested in, later on because it's not protected, right? As a bankruptcy strategist, I've seen a lot of these. In fact, too many of them, where people have lost homes, cars, personal assets because of business debts. And believe it or not, it happens more often than not, right? So we're going to cover these things, and these are the core elements that form as a recession-proof business. So do a quick self-check for yourself and figure out in your business, hey, is your foundation strong? Are you unaffected by the economy? So regardless of the economy, you can guarantee cash flow and predict it, right? Are you profitable? Are you sustainable? Are you agile? Um, I'm not sure about you, but I got into entrepreneurship. I dug into business ownership almost 18 years ago, and I did it primarily because I enjoyed the freedom, I enjoyed the money. I did it because I want to have more control of my life. Now I know it seems ironic, but at the same time, I've had jobs in the past. I've worked in organizations, and there's obviously a vast difference in terms of control, what you can and cannot control. Look, business ownership is very tough. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm not sure what your reasons are. These were mine, right? So take a minute to just think about why you're in business. Why did you open a law firm or a real estate practice, right? Why did you become a coach or a consultant or open your small business, maybe a shop, a retail shop? What is it for? Is it more money? Is it to have a greater impact? Is it to have more freedom? Okay. And now I want you to think about also what's one of the things that's holding you back in your business, in your life, from getting those things that you got into business with, right? A lot of attorneys that I went to school with wanted to open law firms, and many of them did it because they said they wanted to serve more people. But here's the catch: to serve more people, to have a greater impact, you need to have a better business model, right? You need to attract more clients. You need to have better marketing and conversion mechanisms in play. You need to have the whole business figured out before you can focus on serving, right? Yes, it goes hand in hand, but as many people get into business owners, and this is a trend I noticed today, heartfelt entrepreneurs. Now, I have nothing against them, but keep in mind that when you become an entrepreneur and you have a passion, which is great, you want to go for your purpose, but it's a lot more than that. It's hard work, right? There's going to be many sleepless nights. And so in your business, what is the one factor that's holding you back from attaining there, wherever there may be, right? The position that you want to be at. Is it marketing? Is it leads? Is it lack of structure? Is it lack of consistency? Right? Is it no cash flow? Do you have no confidence? Is there no strategy, time? You know? What are some of the reasons? I've listed quite a few here. No technology, too many other financial obligations, family situation. You just don't have the confidence to go ahead and do what you got to do, or be in front of a camera if you have to be in front of a camera. What is it that's holding you back? Write those down, right? And I want you to think about income. So we talked about the impact. Let's talk about the income. What was your income last month? Right? Write down the figure. What was your income last year? Right? Just think about this. Go ahead and just put your pens down for a second and just think about it. Right? What was it last year? What was it last month? And what would you like it to be a year from now, 12 months from now? So close your eyes, 10 seconds, just take 10 seconds to yourself. And think about that number that you would like in 1 year from now. You look at your bank and you say, hey, $200,000, $500,000, right? $1 million, whatever it is, right? And so what I want you to do now is think about the gap that exists between what you'd like and where you are right now. What is that gap? Right? So go ahead and type your answers in. Yeah, it looks like 5 grand. Yeah, perfect. 10 grand. 60K. The whole figure 60K. 60K a month. Yeah. I mean, it's possible if you have a plan, right? So anyways, it's important for you. The first step is to visualize these things, right? So let's do a money map. I want you to walk you through this process of how to build financial goals in your business, and then work out a plan on how to actually make them happen. Excuse me. So think about it, the number. So let's say I'll give you an example here. If I want to make $50,000 in 12 months from now, if I want to make 50,000 every single month, and I know I have 2,000 per transaction, we're looking at roughly 50 transactions per month that I need, right? Oh, sorry, 25 transactions per month that I need to attain my figures, to attain my goals. So I want you to think about the number that you just calculated and the number of transactions that you need in order to hit those transactions, in order to hit that goal, right? What is it? What is that number for you? Write down those two things: the total number that you'd like to make in 1 year, and the total number of transactions that you need in 1 year. And now break it down by month, right? And figure out per month how much revenue and how many transactions that you need. So once you've done that, that sets up the stage. Now we can sort of dig a little bit deeper into it. So it's really time to focus. If you have any distractions, or if you have anything else that's going to be distracting you in the next hour or so, just turn it off, put it away, put your phones on vibrate. If you have any other YouTube videos or whatever, just go ahead and shut it down. This is going to be very important for you, for your business, for you to become recession proof, for you to hit your goals, for you to attain your dreams. Okay, so if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive into it. So number one, as I said, we're going to focus on the approach right now. So let's go ahead and diagnose your own businesses, right? I'm going to walk you through a few things that I want you to think about. And as you're thinking about these things, you're diagnosing your business in terms of whether or not you have a robust foundation, whether you have a recession-proof model. So there's a lot of theories on how people are successful, and you see all these great stories on the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube, and in different channels or magazines that you may follow, but not many people talk about why people fail. Now, as a bankruptcy attorney and a strategist, this is exactly my domain. This is where I saw people. I saw people who failed in their businesses and ended up in my office. And so, having dealt with over 5,000 people and over 2,000 businesses, we have a really good idea of why people are failing. So I just want to go ahead and talk about the stats for a second here. 50% fail of all businesses disappear and fail within just 5 years of inception. 66% disappear in 10 years, and about 75% are all gone within 20 to 25 years. Right? Think about that. Of only 1 out of 4 businesses survives past 20 years. So the local eatery that you saw, the bakery or the bar that you had over 20 years, that's been there since you were a kid or longer, they're 25% of the population of businesses, smart, savvy individuals, many of them professionals, who have not beaten the odds, right? And so the stats are pretty scary. So why is it that so many people fail? Why is it that so many of these businesses are not able to make it? Well, I'll tell you. The number one reason And this is in no particular order, but the number one overarching reason is that just no planning, no strategy. And what happens as a result of that is you're eaten up by competition, you're just not competitive enough, you burn out, you're working too hard. I used to do this, and sometimes I still do if I'm stressed, but I know it's not something to do, which is wake up earlier, get to bed later, right? Lack of sleep, poor eating habits, you burn out. You're working, working, grinding, grinding. Think about how many of the entrepreneurs that you know, or even you, how many hours did you invest, and if the return of that investment has been worth it, right? So burnout is very common in entrepreneurship. That's why a lot of people, it's easier to have a job, right? Less headache. Lastly, all these end up in bankruptcy, lack of structure, lack of organization, the competition eating you away. And lastly, burnout. Just there's nothing's working out. Um, what's the result is that you end up in a bankruptcy. So the theme is that the best of the best of the best survive in a business sense. So again, it's the ones who are truly recession proof, time and time again, have proved that they have the business model to get there. So I want you to think about this now again in your own business, and for you, what this means for you. Why so many business owners struggle, right? Why do so many business owners struggle? What is it? Is it the mindset? Is it lack of systems? Is it drive, right? Is it a vision? I personally don't think it is, although there might be some theories or on it, and you might even be thinking about it. But to me, entrepreneurs, business owners are people who have the most drive, who have the most courage, who have taken the risks, right? Who have taken the vision, who have the vision, who have taken that and made actions out of it. So I don't think it's this, but I think it's form and structure. It comes down to the basics of business. Form, good structure. And it's a lack of that which causes a lot of the business friction that you notice, right? So there's again, think about this again in your own business. Is there accountability? Is there anybody telling you what you should do or should not do? And then holding you responsible if you don't do it, making sure you follow up. Okay? So there's nobody to hold you accountable in your business. Another problem, there's just no direction and help. As a business owner, as a CEO of the business, you're caught up in making important business decisions, but you're also caught up in answering phone calls, sending emails, doing the client work, delivering the stuff, researching the cases, right? Doing the banking, doing the marketing a lot of times. And so there's just no direction, there's no help, there's a lack of resources, quite frankly, to sum it up. And so, it's not surprising when you look at all these things that so many people are failing. Think about this again in your own business. When you're about to make an important business decision, excuse me, who do you bounce off ideas with? Is it internally? Is it with somebody else? Is it the same people giving the same ideas and the same um, mind frame and the thought process every time? Are you having fresh ideas, right? Are you able to get new strategies, new technologies, new workflows, or better, doing whatever you're doing with some strategic feedback and guidance? Imagine where you would be in your business if you had some of those things, right? From the start, from the day you got out of law school or medical college, or the day you started your real estate business. From day one, if there's somebody who has a proven channel of success directing you, pushing you down a certain path, and giving you all the tools, the resources, the templates, the technologies, where would you be? Think about that. So here's the bottom line. This from my analysis, and just by the way, the stats are small businesses have been set up to fail, right? It's unfortunate, but sure, the government does something to help small businesses, but not quite enough. Then you have all the different gurus in the different spaces that talk about Facebook and Google and marketing and Instagram and this and that, and there's a lot of noise, but there's no one really telling you what you exactly need in your business. And unless you have deep pockets, you're not in a position to hire people to advise you, right? To bounce ideas off with, to have um, behind you looking after your business, telling you what's right and what's not right, where you're going to lose money, where you're not going to lose money. So the fact is that small business ownership has been set up in a way that business owners are designed to hit failure, right? It's a big risk. So in my bankruptcy and liquidation firm, again, like I said, this is what we dealt with on a day-to-day basis over the last 10 years, day after day after day. We've had about 5,000 cases, out of which about 2,000 of those have been business owners, including lawyers, realtors, accountants, insurance brokers, people from the entertainment industry, consultants, coaches, um, and really, almost all walks of life. I just included a few here. And one of the common reasons why, time and time again, these companies and these business owners would end up in my office is because they just had no structure. They were all over the place. Okay, they had no system. Things were based on luck. You throw out some darts and you hope something sticks. That's based on luck. There's no automation. The business owner is doing every single thing in their business themselves, right? So when you have a system set up like this, and again, if you're watching this video, chances are many of you have and still probably face some problems with some of these things in your businesses, right? So what I want to do is real quick, I want to give you 3 signs of a broken business model, right? Again, remember, still we're in the diagnose stage here. So if you're taking notes, sure, that's good. But at this point, I want you doing more thinking than writing, right? And analyzing, really understanding, really comprehending what's missing in your business. And I'll just go ahead and give you 3 signs that your business model itself is broken. The first one, it's highly manual, right? Lead generation, the follow-up process, the chasing process, everything's manual. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Number 2, there's just not any focus. There's no focus. You as a CEO, you're doing everything. You're wearing too many hats. Too many things are going on. And you're chasing instead of growing, right? You're doing the stuff in your business as opposed to sitting there wearing the business hat. Does that make sense? Lastly, you're dependent on your business. Your business is you. Your business is dependent on you. You stop, it stops. Family vacation, a sick day, you don't show up to work, you don't get paid, right? So your input is heavily required. You might have, in other words, you file a business name, you're using it, but really the business is just you. So what is the result of all this in terms of ROI? It's negative, right? You can imagine it's things you're not going to, you can only run that fast so long till you tire out, right? Imagine you're swimming in the ocean and you dive in and you have no life jacket and there's nobody behind you, and you jump off a boat that's sinking and you see an island, and it's the guy who just darts it as quick as possible, or the person who's regulated, who goes at a steady, consistent pace, as right. Think about that. So 2 people, who's going to get there, right? The person's just going all over the place, hitting every swim stroke as fast as possible, full speed, right? But there's a mile left for the island. Chances are you're going to give out. Again, so same thing in your business. The result is negative. Running, 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 chasing, 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 selling, selling, selling. It's bound to hit a negative result. How do I know about all these things? Again, I have seen these over and over and over again in my office, my bankruptcy office. Here's a picture of me 10 years ago. I like to think I look the same or perhaps even younger. But regardless, this is what happens, right? So think about this in terms of your business, and you know, take a moment and write down now which one of these is your biggest challenge and why, right? Which one of these factors? Is it too manual? Is it just everything's dependent on you and you're not focused, you're all over the place? Or is it highly dependent on you where your business is you? Which one of these is your biggest challenge and why? Okay? So now that you've had a good understanding, hopefully by now, of some of the things in your business that are sort of broken, where things are not operating independently, where they require your input, where they require you to constantly monitor, to alter, to change, to perfect, right? Hands-on work that requires your commitment in terms of time and money and resources. So when you have a system like that, you're not going to get very far, right? So what we want to do is help you prescribe, right? So we're going to walk you through this process and help you understand the prescriptions that you need and help you, we'll prescribe you those, but it's for you to do this right now as you're walking through this training session, right? What you need. So let's just dig right into it again. 3 strategic shifts that you need in your business in order to become recession proof, where you're building and scaling. The first one is called digitize, right? Let me go ahead and pull up something here on the side. So when we think of your business, again, we want to be able to factor in a couple things, right? So there's 3 models. So there's the first one is the way you run your business. Okay, so this is the way you attract clients. Who comes to you? The second one is the way you convert them. How do you convert new leads into closed paying clients? And lastly, how do you deliver your services? Okay, so those are the 3 broad aspects of it. So as you look down into the more detail of your business, you want to understand in terms of the way you run your business, how to have a digitized model. And specifically, I'm talking about your business model, I'm talking about your marketing model, and I'm also talking about your financial model, right? A digitized version of these where it's clear, it's focused, they can be transferred into technology, and technology can actually do some of these things for you. The way you operate your business, the way you publicize your business, and lastly, the way you monetize your skills, right? You convert and deliver. So if you dig back here now, we want to be in a position where you have completely streamlined, digitized operations, where you're using the most robust tools in the world, Facebook and Google. Facebook owns Instagram, Google owns YouTube. So it's a no-brainer that these 4 are the most powerful channels out there. In addition to, of course, Snapchat and some of the other ones out there, Twitter or whatnot. But we're going to show you how to publicize specifically using Google and Facebook, right? Digitize your operations. Again, sticking with digitization. And lastly, how to monetize. And when I talk about monetization, I'm talking about using your skills and education and experiences in a way that doesn't require you to sell, right? Doesn't require your commitment, doesn't require you to be there doing the hard sale every single time. So in a way that happens behind the scenes automatically, in a leverage type of way that's scalable, that can be expanded, and that's highly profitable. But more important than any of that, it happens behind the scenes automatically, right? And so automation and technology is what the entire theme of building a recession-proof business is going to be about, because that's the number one thing that's missing in the marketplace. People don't have structure, people don't have planning, and a lot of that comes down to their inability for them to plan out how they can integrate technology and all the different resources, and how they can leverage that so that they're more profitable, right? So there's 4 things that we talk about here. It's the way you attract leads, it's the way you qualify them, it's the way you convert them, and it's the way you get referrals in terms of a client life cycle, if that's how you want to think about them, right? You get a prospect client, you qualify them, you convert them, get them paid, and then lastly, try to get a referral out of them. And that's how your business grows. So that's one of the things, again, so 3 strategic shifts. We have digitize, publicize, monetize. So, what is this process? How does this look like? I designed a flow chart for you in case there's people who are more visual, who like to see and understand the mechanics of it. This might help you. Again, based on the nature of your business, this might slightly change, but it's worked thousands of times for us that we've implemented it without a problem. Okay, so the first step we have your digitization. And when we talk about digitization, we're talking again, like I said, your marketing, business, and your financial model. Next, we have your publication, and publicizing and publication refers to Facebook, Google, and some of the other resources I just mentioned. Now, that's really the only two steps involved in this process that requires your input. In fact, it's just the first one, digitization, and that's in a way what you're doing right now. As we're walking through this, you're thinking about different parts of your business that you can streamline and you can automate and you can install technology to do some of the work for you, right? Once you start publicizing, once you have all the assets built, you want to go ahead and publicize it, and then the rest of the stuff happens behind the scenes. So everything that you see in blue almost happens behind the scenes automatically, 24/7, excuse me, on demand, without your input. Ads get tested, leads get captured, they're educated and pre-sold, and then they attempt, show up to webinars, phone calls, in-person meetings, or events. And again, that's the qualification process where you have them. And lastly, that's the way to monetize them, right? These are the three monetization mechanisms in terms of scaling: webinars, right? Uh, Events, workshops, courses. These are all monetary ways that you can amplify your revenue quickly. And then we have the delivery side of it. So, what I want you to do is think about now the marketing aspect. So in terms of your business operation, this covers it, right? Does this help you visualize the workflow in terms of how to have a digitized business workflow where most of the work is happening behind the scenes? The next is the marketing. Think about all the marketing channels that you should be using that you're not. And go ahead do me a favor, just write them down in the chat window there or on a piece of paper by yourself. Right? Facebook, Google. I slapped up a social media tree up there so you can take a look at it and figure out what you're using and what you're not. Right? Eventbrite, webinars, Pinterest, Google Plus, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's just so many channels out there. So it's impossible to do all of them. What we have is a checklist that we developed, and if it's helpful for you, just go ahead and, at the end of this webinar, send me a message once we're towards being done, saying that you want a copy of the checklist, the marketing checklist, and I'll make sure that I send it over to you. Okay? So, what's the problem with all the things you just listed? Right. It's because you think you have to use all those things. There's just too much stuff to do, too many things to take care of. Each of those platforms that I showed you are unique in their own way. They do different things. And it's almost impossible to execute all of them, right? So stop juggling, start executing, right? Marketing is tiring, it's confusing, it's exhausting. It's not fun stuff. Who likes to do marketing, right? There's a bunch of people put up their hand and say, I like to do marketing. No, nobody likes to do marketing. People like the revenue or the results of marketing, which is different from saying, I like marketing. Okay, nobody wants to sell, and nobody wants to hear a seller. So think about your business again, and think about where your marketing is right now in terms of a sliding scale or an upward scale. Is it blocked where your business, if it is, where you're having almost no leads, no traffic, that means that your business is critical. You're in almost pre-bankruptcy mode, if not close to it, right? Something has to happen immediately. Next, it's full of holes. You may get a client referral here and there. Maybe you're just barely making ends meet. You're down a few months. You're not It's unpredictable, and again, it's in the critical stage at that point. Maybe you develop a little bit of traction where it's trickling in. Things are starting to trickle in slowly. But again, you want to be at a stage where you're at least at a steady flow or a flood, right? That's the green in this equation, right? You don't want to be at any of the bottom three. We want to be moving towards having a steady flow of clients from various channels, and lastly, a flood, which is truly hitting recession-proof status, right? Which is what we're trying to help you accomplish over the next 1 year. So when you do that, you have a flood. What you're doing is building a highway, where you're not relying on one tap, one lane, or one-way streets, but you have a pipeline that's full, and there can be clients in different lanes, so to speak, right? But at the same time, you have control of where you want a specific client to be or where you want to be in terms of how fast you want to go, how slow you want to go, if you want to speed things up or slow things down in your business. Again, it's in your control. Complete control is what we're after, so that you have the ability to make these shots, make these decisions that determine how much you want to work, how much revenue you want to earn, and what you want to do in your business. The point of all this about automation, again, is that it works just like a GPS, so that you can stay focused, right? I remember this picture. I remember doing this, looking at maps, driving from Toronto through all the way in the US, different places prior to GPS 10, 12, 15 years ago. And it's confusing, right? It's hard. We've been lost many times, my family and I. Ended up in some very dangerous places. But now, hopefully and thankfully, with the GPS, all you have to do is punch in a destination and rely on technology to guide you to get there. So that's exactly what this in your business is. It's like the GPS for you, right? You set up your destination in 1 year, and your job is to follow along. The path is going to be shown to you, and your job is to make sure you stay on track, right? What does this mean to you in terms of recession-proof, having a recession-proof business? It's clients, revenue, every single week, constantly, right? You don't even have to think about it. When you wake up on Monday morning, you have 5, 10, or 20 clients that you're going to close that week. Guaranteed, right? A client a day, every single day, guaranteed. Getting paid every single day. How would that feel for you in your business, right? In your law firm, in your medical firm, in your real estate firm, if you have a coaching practice, or if you have a financial consultancy, or if you're an accountant, how would that feel for you to get paid every single day, every single week, without a break, right? Close your eyes, you wake up, I'm going to get paid today. What's the value of each transaction, right? So the beauty of this system is that you just have to plant this stuff once. You build a model, you put it in place, just like a GPS. You punch in the address, you put it in place, and it'll take you there, right? You build a model, and you just deploy it, and it keeps going on forever and ever and ever, right? If you have a true recession-proof business, you will be in that 25% of companies that can continue on, right? Your database just keeps growing and growing and growing. So when you think about marketing, I want you to think about three specific aspects of marketing. There's your free marketing, there's paid marketing, and then there's referrals and what we call earned media, things that you can get out of what assets you already have, right? Referrals generally are called earned. So what we want to do over time is incorporate strategies that will help you not just market constantly and pay money, but help you develop a database, right? So initially, if you don't have a large enough database already, then it's time to invest some money so that you can fill the funnel quickly, right? Get people in the hopper, get people in your database, which is the paid. Quickest mechanisms to do that: Google, Facebook, network ads, and influencers, right? Second, we move to owned. Now, once people are in your database, once somebody has opted in, they're in your email systems, or it's emails you collected, or it's people who have already engaged with you. It might be people on your LinkedIn list, on your profile. All these are owned assets, things that you can control, that you can message directly, right? You're the owner of what you can do with that particular asset in terms of an email, a marketing asset, so to speak. So again, Facebook, it's really good to generate lookalike audiences so that your targeting is on point. Customer inserts and whatnot. Lastly, we have the earned media, where our focus is, because quite honestly, that's where the juice is, right? It's free, number one. It's trustworthy. They're coming from someone else as a referral, so chances of them converting are much higher. I know in the legal and financial industries, referrals are the way to go. It's all about getting referrals and gaining referrals. Law firms and many lawyers, in fact, rely on just referrals. So think about this for a second. If you're relying on just referrals in your business, then is your database large enough that you can get constant referrals? And is it large enough to become recession proof where it's a flood? Right? If it's not a flood, you go back to the drawing board, have more paid, have more owned, and build your way up to earned. Okay, does this make sense so far? The beauty of this, the earned portion of it, the earned portion of it again, is that it just keeps going and going and going. Once you have people in your database engaged, sharing your content, adding more people, it just keeps growing from there. So you may hit a point in a couple months or a couple of years where you just don't have to advertise at all, and you still have a flood coming in because of the large network and database that you've already grown and invested in. Okay, does that make sense? So what you see here, the web map, is the technology that we use, Influencer 360, what I'm part owner of. And one of the things that we try to address is the ability to really zone in and focus on the referrals, right? Understanding how many referrals are generated from someone. So in this example here, the person you see in the middle is the only person who we paid for, right? That's a paid contact. From there, through free referrals, she or he generated all the others absolutely free of cost. Those are all opt-ins, and as you can see there's people who have generated 3-4 layers of referrals. And what we've done is uh, been testing the algorithms and fine-tuning the process of actually tracking that activity. So that's what this is. That's what you see here. But the value of this in terms of what it's worth to you, think about it. If you have to pay for one person, they can generate 50, 60, 70 people for free. Where would your income be this year? So if you follow a system like this, where you've digitized the way you attract clients, the way you convert them, the way you get referrals, hey, it's possible that you have infinite ROI, right? And truly, from a system like this, at this point, now if each of these people are the center point in their own web map, in their own referral map. So you can understand the value of a given campaign that has, let's say, 10,000 people engaged, 10,000 leads, and now they all start to share, and they start to share, and they start to share, and so on, right? Very soon, hitting something viral, going viral, 100, 200, 5 million people, doesn't seem a stretch at all now, right? So that's some of the things that I just want you to think about in terms of how those are going to help you. So look, we've made this very, very, very easy for you. A lot of the hard work in behind putting some of these things up is the building phase. You want to be able to build the foundation in a way that's strong, that's robust, that's agile, that's flexible, and one that accomplishes what your goals are, right? So we've made this very easy. We've been templating all the stuff that we work on from over 18 years now, and all this is there for your benefit. All you have to do is just swipe and deploy. If you'd like a copy of some of these templates, just do me a favor, and at the end of the workshop or right now in the chat box, on the message box, just go ahead and type in template, and I'll send you a free Facebook template, the one that you see up here. Okay? Is this helpful so far? Take a look again. Like I said, Clear Debt Solutions, my bankruptcy firm. These are templates. This website and templates are what we built 10 years ago. I haven't touched this since. And to this day, it brings me consistently between 300, 3 to 350, and 600. So between 3 and 600 clients year after year after year. It's been generating for the past 10 years. The average transactional value per case is roughly $1,500 to about $4,500. And so when you think about that system, we're close to hitting $1 million in that business every year. It's a 3-person team, right? I live in Los Angeles, run a business from Toronto as a silent partner with my dad, who oversees the operation, semi-retired real estate investor, and 2 temporary staff to do the paperwork and the filings. Um, and we're closing 5, 6, 700 files a year. So, and we're not one of the only. Again, it's possible, but you need to go about it in a strategic way. You need to go about it in a structured way. You need to have automation. You need to have different technology set up so these things can happen behind the scenes in your business. Okay? So the point of all this, to become recession proof, you need to be consistent. You need to become predictable. You need to become automated. Over the last 10 years now, we've been working with various marketing agencies, technology companies, enterprise level organizations, and we've been deploying these exact strategies over and over and over. And I've just inserted a few of the case studies that we've worked on with some of the partners, and what we've done is incorporated all the things that I've learned from these gurus and masters and cases that we worked on into this program, as I'm explaining all this stuff to you. So it all fits into the same recession-proof business model that we're talking about, and we've tested these strategies with some of these companies, like as you see here, Marriott and Pizza and Domino's. And so you have the benefit of having some of these already given to you. So I just want to do a quick check-in at this point. I know I've been chatting away a little bit. Where are you in this process? And what do you need to hit your goals right now? Right? So go ahead and type that in. Is it marketing? Is it technology? Is it more leads? Right? What part of this process do you need the most? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to go ahead and just write that as I grab some water here. Yeah, all 3, yeah. Bob says all 3. That's right, Bob. Usually it's digitize, publicize, and monetize. You need all 3 to make it work. So here's a problem with the manual system, right? Why the manual process? If you're still manually working your business, here's the problem. You're wearing every hat. Every step is you, from the finding the client to attracting them, to delivering your message, to converting them, pitching them, collecting the money, and then following up. Every single thing is you. So you got to sell, right? I put a realtor here, and ironically, 3 days ago, a realtor showed up to my door asking me if I'm ready to sell my property. And I was blown away. I didn't know realtors still did door knocking. It's 2017. right? With the push of a button, you can reach thousands, if not millions, of people, and there's people walking around door knocking, cold calling. So, I just want you to think about that in your business, how manual it is, and how much better it would be if, excuse me, you had a completely automated model where what you're doing is providing value. You're the teacher, the educator, um, right? As opposed to the sales guy, where your delivery is automated. You're providing value in an automated, deliver, deliverable way that can be truly scaled, right? Instead of just working with 5, 10, 15 people per month, all of a sudden you can be working with hundreds of people, thousands of people in the year, right? Impact a lot more people. So, what is it in your business that is holding you back from there, right? Again, it's doing things manually. A lot of times comes down to that. That is itself the problem. You're running an outdated, old, manual business model that's not recession proof, and what you need is an automated system. And one of the things that happens, one of the shifts, that a natural shift that will happen is as you do this, as you provide value, as you focus on getting better in your content, better in your quality of work, better in delivery, better customer service, because you're not caught up in doing all the chasing, the manual stuff, finding the leads. All this stuff is happening behind the scenes. All you're doing is collecting the money and closing, right? And delivering. You become the go-to person. You're the influencer in your space, in your database, in your market. You have control over your business, right? People are going to come to you to hear you speak, to have you help them in their lives or the businesses. Again, like I said, here's more examples. This strategy applies all over B2C sales. This is my own bankruptcy professional firm, right? It applies. B2B, again, same thing. It doesn't matter. Okay, so to wrap up that particular segment in terms of the prescriptions, it's what you need is let's go here. So we talked about having let's go here. So we talked about having a strong right business model, marketing model, and technology model, right? And these form your first step, digitization. And now once that happens, once you're all digitized, the next step is publicize. Right? In publications, again, we're talking about Facebook, specifically Google as the two main sources, and then supplementing it with everything else like TV, radio, flyers, and whatnot. Okay. Also up here we have your financial model. So business, legal, marketing, financial. Legal sort of fits on the overarching end of all this here. That's everything you do has a legal impact, which we're not really going to dive into deep detail in this program. I will show you and cover different legal aspects of it as in our web training session, but we're not going to dig deep into it. And lastly, we have your monetization, right? How do you monetize yourself? And here we talked about the scaling mechanisms that we want you to start using, like webinars and workshops and book publications or whatnot. There's a variety of things that you can use. But in terms of your prescriptions, as we talked about, we have really, a couple things. Running a manual model, and we want to move into an automated model, right? That's step one. And the way to do that is to digitize, as we showed you. Next, we have a business that's dependent on you. And what we want to do is move to a model that's independent of you. And in terms of that, what we need to do is publicize, right? Publicity in a way that happens automatically, that brings the prime prospects, A-list, premium clients that you want to work with to you automatically. Okay. And lastly, we have a business that has just poor profitability because all this stuff there's too many holes, there's too many gaps, It's not smooth. There's a lot of friction, and we want to move that into a model that's heavily monetized, right? That's smooth, that's frictionless, where things are happening by themselves. You're selling by the masses. You're converting more clients than you ever thought possible, right? We're getting paid every single day. So these are the shifts that you need to make in your business. Digitizing, publicizing the right way, and the monetizing using the right resources, tools, technologies, and as well as virtual teams that can help you become better at what you do, where everything else is done behind the scenes. So, like I said, I was just at my dentist the other day. Think about your dental experience. You walk in, there's somebody at the counter, takes care of your billing, right? That's what she did. She sent me to the other room, set me up. Somebody else came, uh, drugged me up, right? The dentist came in. All he did is the fill and drill, and he walked out. And that's it. And then the payment, somebody else did it. The cleanup, somebody else did it. The thank you, setting up the next appointment. Here's your bill. Everything else was taken care of by somebody else in the business, right? All the dentist did was walk in, fill and drill, walk out. 5 minutes in and out, made $1,000 off me, right? That's all he does. 5, 6, 10, 20 times a day. So how would that change in your business if you had a system working like that for you? Think about that as we get into this next little segment here, which is the big chunk of this webinar and the web training session is how to fill and drill. Okay, hopefully so good so far. In this process, it's all about technology and how to use technology to power your growth. Okay, so if you're ready, let's this next segment. I know this first portion of it was more in an educational format. This next little chunk that we're going to cover is going to be all about you, all about your business. And what I want you to do is envision us having a live strategy session where we're going to walk you through this process. I'm going to help you build this out in real time so that at the end of this web training session, you're going to walk out with a plan, a recession-proof business plan that you can immediately deploy. Okay? If that sounds good, go ahead and type in, let's do it. And we'll kick it off. I gotta tell you, I'm really excited for this next little chunk that's coming up. This is the core of how I've made millions and millions of dollars in my bankruptcy business, the real restructuring, what it comes down to, and the secrets that really very few business owners are using and utilizing on a day-to-day basis. And the ones who are the ones who are your superstars making the top, 10% of the income in your industry. Excuse me. So, the first step, let's go back to the process, back to the drawing board, right? We have your we have your business model, we have your marketing model, we have your financial model, and then technology is where it fits in here, where it powers all these other components. Okay, so I want you to think about that as we walk in through this next little chunk here. So in terms of making those shifts, I talked about 3 particular shifts that you're going to have to make in your business, right? One is digitize, one is publicize, and one is monetize. And as you do these, and sometimes they happen together, sometimes independently, but the more simultaneous and concurrent it is, the better it is for you, so that it's going to be able to deploy it all at the same time and master it as you go along. So the first step is to digitize it. Again, your business model, your marketing model, and we have your financial model, what I just showed you, and then the tech. Publicize, I'll dig into that a little bit later. We have testing, capturing, educating, pre-selling, and then converting, right, before delivery. So in the shift number one, we have business, marketing, pricing, financial, which form your core business foundation. These are your pillars that your business is going to stand on, right? This is what forms everything in your business. Without this, it's going to be tough for you to build on top. Think about constructing a building, a structure. You need a strong foundation if you want to have layers and layers and floors on top of it, right? So this is going to be that process right now, building your financial and other systems. So again, here's what it looks like in terms of workflow. I've gone ahead and shared with you my personal workflow that we use in Clear Solutions, and how from a broad overall 360-degree perspective, what it looks like, where you have your media, where it's paid influencers, shared media, from traffic, from emails, from print, from different things that we have, and how we walk them through the engagement process, through the different tools of the trade at that point. So we have Lightbox, which are pop-ups, influencer apps and referral systems, as I said, content development hub, similar to a blog. We have share and win campaigns where we keep it fresh with engagement. As people share content, they may have a chance to win something. Next, they go to a segmented screening process so that we're able to identify exactly who our bankruptcy firm's clients are with precision. And lastly, once they're in the hopper, if they're not ready, if they haven't signed up yet, then automated emails go behind the scenes so that they're always nurturing, they're getting what they need to from us in terms of educating them and pre-selling them. Okay, if that makes sense. So I just want to do a quick check-in before we go ahead and do this further. How automated in this process is your business, right? How many of these things happen behind the scenes automatically without you having to do anything? Think about that. So what we want to do is help you attract with precision. Oh, sorry if I went too fast there, right? You don't have to write anything down, just think about it. So again, let's dive into attraction now. If you're able to attract your clients with precision, how would that change? So in terms of, I have a template that I'm going to walk you through and help you understand the 4 critical ways that we can identify and pinpoint clients with accuracy. And again, if you need this template at the end of this workshop, just go ahead and send us a message in our Facebook group, and I'll make sure I hook you up with it. And so for now, just pull up a piece of paper, or if you're working on the roadmap or the download, feel free to fill this section out. What I want to do is help you understand how to really pinpoint your client with accuracy, right? With a laser beam as opposed to a shotgun, right? It's the rifle versus the shotgun approach. We want to be able to build an automated model all the way from the ground up so that it's pinpointed. All the people on your page, all the people calling you that show up to your office are qualified, are ready to pay. Okay, so number 1, think about their income, if there is an income in mind that you have. Number 2, their age range. Okay. Number 3, their interests. So, sorry, I'm on the left side here. Number 3, their interests. What things are they looking for? Right? This is in particular useful as you're pinpointing them on Facebook and some of the other tools and technologies out there, which allow you to pinpoint based on interests. So again, interest, think about the topics that are relevant to you that your ideal client might be looking up. So for example, I know that a person who has bankruptcy might not be looking at the word bankruptcy, but they probably have an interest in luxury items or credit cards or store cards or things that they can't afford, specifically if their income is lower than a person who can afford those things, right? Now there's a gap. So a person making $40,000 to $80,000 who has an interest in, let's say, only Mercedes or luxury cars and boats and whatnot and luxury items, well, there's going to be a gap somewhere, right? The supplemental income that has to come in to afford a lifestyle. And if they don't have it ahead of time, chances are it's from a credit card. and sooner or later they'll end up in a situation that they need me. So with some forethought, you can really predict and put yourself in a position where you can be found when your client needs you, if that makes sense. Okay, engage them, get them thinking about it, even if they have not. And a lot of times in bankruptcy, that's what happens. People never think they want to go bankrupt or say to themselves as they wake up, hey, I got to go bankrupt today. No, you wake up and say, I'm going to see if I can pay off some debts, right? I'm going to see if I can pay off my credit card. How do I do that? Bankruptcy is an avenue to do it, but nobody wakes up in their mind and say, hey, I want to go bankrupt. They want to feel happy. They want peace of mind. They want to be able to take a vacation. Those are the things people are looking for, right? So think about the interest in your business. What topics are they looking for? Real estate, personal injury. I mean, there's a variety of them. And then how do those relate to you? And so next is their online behavior. When are they online in terms of their schedules? When are they looking for this stuff? When are they researching this information? Right? Is it during the day? Chances are people are at work. If your clients are business owners, yeah, maybe they are online, but it's unlikely, right? In the internet world, yeah, maybe, because a lot of millennials are using, social media during the day. So perhaps. Um, Location, finally, is it regional, national, global, or just like in our bankruptcy office? I'm happy with people 40 miles from my office. So here's the pinpointing system. I gave you an example of the things we walked through just now in terms of how I pinpoint the bankruptcy clients and my bankruptcy clients, and the same way, the same mechanisms that you need to think about in your business, and how you can really pinpoint who your ideal prospects are, right? Who is your exact client? Income, age, shopping, or interest rather, professions if there's one, family situation if there's a family situation involved. For me, it doesn't matter. Assets and whatnot. Again, Facebook and Google are so incredible. They have this information, and that's why I want you to think about these, because it's going to be very useful in terms of pinpointing, with laser beam, who your clients are. Now, in terms of where you are in your business and what you specialize in, um, a lot of people may have a hard time figuring out who this ideal client is. And from my experience, you know, again, it's something that needs some thought. You need to put some time aside and really think who you'd like to deal with, who's happy to pay you, right? Um, Here's something that I would even suggest: take a coin, flip it, and think about who the heads is, if you narrow it down to two people, and the tails is. And as you're flipping it up, who is it that you wanted in your mind to work with? What did you want it to land on? And so that is probably going to be the best person for you to pinpoint. And so what you want to figure out in terms of who you service and what you do to them is, are you a generalist or are you a specialist, right? Are you an expert in the field? Now, as an attorney, if you're attorneys, um, keep in mind, unless you're a bar certified expert, or rather specialist, the bar generally doesn't like people using the word specialist and expert, so I would try to stay clear of it. But you don't have to use it now. But in terms of thinking about it as you're pinpointing what you do, it's useful to think about it like that, right? Do you serve a lot of stuff to a lot of people, where you can do a variety of things for a variety of people, right? Or you only serve very few things for just a few people, right? Which is a specialist, right? Or an expert status. You only deal with one very specific thing. People have that problem, boom, you're the person for it. You can fix it, right? So where do you fit into that category? Think about that. Next, think about um, where you'd like to be. You want to be a mix of both, or you're one end or the spectrum. Again, The easiest way to build a recession proof in 1 year is to pick one market. It's to pick one thing that you want to do. And whether it's, you don't have to be a specialist or a generalist, that's up to you to decide. But the easier you make it for yourself as you're walking through this process, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so the next one is the pricing. But let me just go ahead and back up for 1 second here and talk about a concept that will give you a little bit of clarity as we walk through the next little segment here. It's a concept that we call the 5 M's. Okay, and some people call it differently. Anyway, it's what it is. It's figuring out a 1 year plan, right? Streamlined, focused, and narrow is what we want to be. So we have one market. Okay, we have one price that we're going to focus on. We're going to have one conversion mechanism that we're going to use over the next year. You can use other ones, but that's the main mechanism that you're going to use to convert clients. You have one marketing mechanism to generate new traffic, right? And lastly, you have one financial goal in the 1 year time frame. Think about these fives, the 5 O's or the 5 M's, as what we want to do, as a thing you want to be working on, right? It's what's going to determine how you'll be able to scale your business quickly over the next year, and this process is really going to help you with that. So in terms of your market, I'll give you an example. For this business, again, this message is mainly for lawyers, although it's other small business owners and CEOs. But my core market, for example, is professional entrepreneurs. That's what I built a small business growth program for. One price. This is, we have two programs, both of them a slightly different cost, but the one we focus on the most is the low end program, right? $1,500. One market, one mechanism, and financial goal. Here we're trying to think about breaking $1 million in your business, right? And work backwards. I think I went through this in a little bit of detail earlier. So if your goal is 1 million, you want to do the mental math and break it down into monthly. It's about 83,000, roughly about $20,000 a week is what you need to make in order to hit $1 million. Okay. In terms of your marketing mechanism, paid. There's free. I showed you there's free, there's paid, there's referrals and partnerships. I like paid because it's quick, right? And that's the starting point. From the paid, they go into the own bucket and then send referrals, which get to the earn bucket. And in terms of, again, the mechanism, I like to do webinars like the one you're on right now and workshops. So that's sort of how we built this business and how we built Clear to Solutions. And in your business, that's important to really become crystal clear quickly, okay? So in terms of your pricing, again, when you're building out a pricing and you're not sure how to price it, which many people have a tough time understanding, think about 4 things that determine how you can price something. And this is what we use. Number 1, is it profitable, right? It's something I'm comfortable giving away and saying, okay, I got paid with that. I still have money left, right? Number 2, how much time does it require of your time, your commitment? Time is money, right? And time is the most valuable thing there is for all of us. So think about that. Number 3, delivery. Is that something you can deliver? Is it something you can handle? Are you comfortable doing that, right? What's your core skill? So your core skill sort of comes down to the delivery and your message. The one thing you can close your eyes and say, oh, no problem. I can sell 100 of these or 200 of these a month. and I can do it in my sleep, right? For me, that would be stuff like bankruptcies. I can close them, complex documents, but I can do them. I've done thousands of them that I can comfortably handle them in my sleep, so to speak, right? And lastly, is it scalable? Can you scale this pricing that you're doing? Can you serve 100 or 1,000 people at that price point? And so one of the ways that what you want to do in terms of when you're building out a pricing structure is think about having one. Actually, let me go back here. Pull one of these. So in terms of a pricing structure, what we want to do is have, and again, like I said, there's you can think about this in terms of money, and then you can think about this in terms of your time, right? So here, let's say we have our low-end program. Generally for coaching, consulting, programs, and things that people do, you can have two, three different price points. Again, for a law firm setting or a medical setting, it's similar. From a real estate transaction standpoint, it's the industry works slightly differently based on commission. But if you're an attorney or you have a consulting business and you're trying to figure out, hey, who do I want to deal with? Then there's two ways that we really work to build it. So the first one, you can have your low end offer, and this can be an intro level program, one that like the implementation program that we run, right? It's a $1,500, 10-week, so roughly 3-month program, and it's at a price point that we can deliver to hundreds of thousands of people, right? Hundreds or thousands. So, and in terms of commitment, it's not much time. It takes 2 strategy meetings that I have to jump on, in addition to my team and I who run the private Facebook community groups and whatnot, to answer questions. But that's really it. 2 strategy meetings, a bunch of stuff that we already recorded, got it done. And so that's a good product for us to scale with, right? If that, right? Uh, and so next you have then your another offer where you can have more premium program. These are the clients that you absolutely want to work with, who you would enjoy working with. So we have a 2K program where we have a handful of people by invite only, by application, that we're comfortable working with them, and we do strategy sessions once a week, right? Once or twice a week. One implementation, one learning. And so in this program, 2K a month for a year, this is $20,000. Um, but I know that it's something that requires time and it's not scalable as much as I'd like to be. So I rather fill up this chunk with a lot of people, and then in this one here have it a bit more reserved where it's only for specific people that I want to deal with. And then we do have, as a last layer, others who you don't mind who don't mind paying a premium cost. So 5, 10, 15,000 bucks, right? Private clients that you'd like to work with. And so that's sort of 3 packages how you can build in terms of what you offer, how much you want to offer, and in terms of your time, price and time, and how to spread those things so that you even out and you build a recession-proof model. That way, you have a few people in different in different price buckets and in different hoppers all the time. Okay, is this useful stuff so far? It's helping you determine how you can do some of these things. Let's go ahead and dig into the marketing model right now. We have paid, we have owned, we have free, the 3 things I talked about. So I'm talking about in terms of marketing, digitization, and automation. We have social and digital strategy. There's Facebook, which there's an organic growth, which happens within Facebook community itself. These are some of the in-depth strategies I'm just going to reveal to you really quick as we walk through them. So this is focusing on campaigns within the Facebook community for you. Something called a steady growth campaign, which focuses on getting database filled, the first step, right? Then there's a focus conversion driven campaign. There's live Facebook live campaigns, and there's groups. So these are all the different 5 uh, in-depth strategies that we use so that we have a constant flow of leads at all times in from Facebook itself. Next, we have Google and YouTube. Again, very complex. Instagram, Snapchat, emails, and lists. So this is all your social distance strategy. What we want to do is tie that up with your flyers, radio, TV, sponsors, partnerships, right? There's a lot of mechanisms in place that easily help you detect where things are coming from, and that's sort of the things we want to help you understand. So in terms of your channels, again, these are all paid, and if you're going with the paid aspect, especially right now, if you want to fill the funnel and get paid as quickly as possible and build your business, you're going to have to tap into paid unless you already have a very large database to fall back on. So it's about integrating a comprehensive strategy that involves social, digital, traditional, and influencers. I'm not going to dig into the depths of each of these here. They are a full course and a program by itself, but I just wanted to give you that basic. So let's go back to the money math here, right? What's your goal in 12 months? Write that down again, which you did at the start of this web training session. So what is that number again? Write that down. How many transactions do you need? And by the week, what does that come down to? And what that's useful for is building your financial model, your ROI table, your forecasting system. Okay, so I'll just walk you through another example that I made up here for you. So for example, in the month, if I want 50 transactions, okay, I want 50 transactions a month, and I'm converting, let's say, 50 transactions a month will give me roughly at $1.50 or 1.5K each. It'll give me roughly 80 grand a month, right? Which brings me to about $1 million a year. So I'm going to use that example as I walk you through this, and hopefully you have a chance to break this down and calculate some of these things in your business. So 50 transactions a month, if I'm pitching at 50% is what my conversion rate is, I know I have to pitch 100 people, okay? Now, taking in some standard factoring rates from online, click-through rates or whatnot, we're going to say 10% as a standard, although the industry has 1 to 3. Let's go with a bit more because the legal profession, the professionals who I deal with, have had generally rates of 10 to 20%. So let's go with 10%, right? So what that means is if I'm pitching to 100 people a month and 50 of those convert, then 1,000 people need to have opted in to my message, downloaded something, or watched a webinar or whatever for me to hit those stats. And if I do 10% again, which means there's 10,000 people who click this and watch this, okay? Who clicked my ad and came to my landing page. 100,000 viewed it, and 1 million people actually saw mine as a base impression, as a reach. If I reach out to 1 million people, I can guarantee that I'm going to get 50, 100 people of those I'll be able to pitch, and out of those I'll close 50 of them. So, what does that tell you? 12 months, if 12 million people are watching my message, I can hopefully break that down and convert it into $1 million, right? So not too bad if you look at odds like that. So if you calculate the cost to click as $1 a piece, let's say you're looking, or even $25 a conversion based on conversion campaigns where you're pitching, you can estimate anywhere from 10 to 12 to 15 grand in ad spend, right? To be able to get to be able to make $80,000. So, in other words, if your revenue, gross revenue, has to be 80,000, and you take away the 10 or 12,000, you're left with roughly 65 or 70,000 bucks a month, right? Pretty good ROI, right? If you have to spend 10,000 and you make 70,000 every month, it's a no-brainer. So again, this is useful to calculate some of these metrics in your business. Now keep in mind, like I said, results vary based on many things, but this is the process of building a budget, building a predictor. That's what I wanted to show you here. Over the next few months, as you have a database, remember your spend is going to drastically reduce. The next shift I want to talk about is publicizing, right? So I want to talk to you briefly about your Facebook mechanism and community, the Google ads, influencers and leaders, and traditional marketing and how that works. So in terms of the model itself, we have a couple different steps involved. We have building the model, excuse me. We have launching the ads. We have capturing your ideal clients automatically. Then we have auto engagement, auto pre-selling, auto referrals, auto booking system, an automated conversion system, so that all you're doing is pitching and closing, and that's a model that's scalable, right? So that's a broad, again, map of how the automation timeline looks like. Now, in terms of Facebook, again, we use so many templates for these, so it's going to be very easy for you to swipe and deploy some of this stuff. Just go ahead and send me a text saying Facebook, and I'll make sure that I send you a copy of some of these things, okay? So Facebook, it's a no-brainer. If you're not using it in your business to generate revenue, it's over 1 billion daily users, largest platform in the world, social platform. It's absolute no-brainer. But it's easier said than done, right? Facebook advertising is an art and a science and a skill that's acquired by testing and perfecting and spending a lot of time and a lot of money, which we've been doing. So the things that we have for you are things that have already been working. One of the things that I use, again, as I showed you, is templates. I love templates because all you have to do is design it once and just keep deploying it, right? So in terms of a Facebook template, and again, this comes down to your marketing model in general. Keep in mind, as somebody's scrolling through Facebook, you have just a couple of seconds to capture their attention. So a lot of stuff has to happen for you to be able to capture their attention, get them to resonate with your message, understand it, go to the next step, and whatnot, right? So if you're focusing on the sale on Facebook, it's not going to happen. It's a step-by-step approach. So that's the main objective on Facebook, as they're on there, is to pinpoint the right person and then to generate a click out of them, okay? And get them to, and that's where the landing page kicks in, where at that point you're trying to get them to opt in or whatnot. So take a look at this. I mean, these are essentials of all marketing. We have something that generates immediate attention, gets them to connect with you easily right away, spots an issue or application of what you're trying to offer them. So, for example, if you are now watching this video, chances are you first arrived because I promised you a free download of some sort, right? And how you can apply that download in your business to become a bit more recession-proof and a bit more structured. What are some of the benefits of having that? So again, think about that and have that in your mind. After that, it's the timing of the offer, right? It's make sure that it's action-oriented and something people can act on right away. Again, we want to have a picture that stands out, because on Facebook, remember, you just have a couple of seconds before somebody loses their attention. So it has to be quick, it has to be immediate, it has to connect with them. A headline, a call to action button, it's optional, sometimes it's not needed. And lastly, a phone number or an email. Very few people put that in there. We've tried it and we have got quite a few phone calls. Again, like I said, this is what it looks like in action. A lot of these things are templated, so all you got to do is swipe and deploy. In terms of what these look like, again, Facebook is very specific in terms of what words and themes you can and cannot use. And so you can go ahead and try to use the words like debt or bankruptcy, but chances are they're not going to go through. We've had to do a lot of testing in terms of words and rejections and back and forth with Facebook to finally figure out words that can go through. So if you're a law firm, again, compliance is going to be a big thing in terms of advertising. If you're an accountant, a realtor, chiropractor, compliance, right? You want to make sure you are compliant in all the different avenues you're advertising in so that you won't get in trouble ethically later on. Here's a Google AdWord template builder. Again, Google AdWords, I know law firms spend a ton of money on this stuff, and there's many easy ways to do it. One of the things we do is, again, it's taking a different approach from everyone else. And so if everyone's out there on Google pitching bankruptcy, we want to pitch something else, a free guide, a number, text this, text that. So we try and do things differently so that it stands out, and that's called disruptive marketing, and that's what these templates are focused on doing. The last segment of this workshop, as we're entering it into it now, is the really where your real recession-proof business model lies. This is a step that is going to make you money, that is going to give you peace of mind, that's going to make you $1 million from now into the next 12 months, okay? And in terms of the strategic shift that you're going to make in your business, it's automation and technology. That's where the focus is. The focus is also on ROI. You automate the selling process. We're going to automate the referral generation process. We're going to focus on just delivery and quality, right? So that you can attain more control. We're also going to focus on expansion and growth. And lastly, on becoming recession proof. And the theme is to try to get more money, more control, and more freedom. Now, I did realize that I said attaining more complete control. If that's a way to do it, right? You perfect on getting perfected. So here's a landing page. So from the first step, once I've found them on Facebook, I've pinpointed them, now what's the next step? It's getting them to a landing page, right? So let me go here for a second as I can just show you quickly what this looks like. So we have, again, your first section where you're attracting clients, right? This is the part where you're getting new business. And so here we have, you want to fill your funnel as fast as possible. You want to try and build authority in your marketplace so that you're converting all the people that you're talking to and you become the go-to person. And then lastly, we want to integrate and digitize operations, so we're streamlined with technology, right? Next we have, use a different color here. Next we have the way you convert clients. And here we have, things like your landing pages, screening mechanisms, conversion webinars or whatnot, workshops, the workflow, right? And then lastly, we have the way you deliver. And here we're looking at really technology to take it to the next level of scaling, right? Expansionary systems and automated programs, the signature automated programs like the ones so we're talking about. So when you look at this model in general, we have the way you track, the way you convert, the way you deliver. And if you look at it from a bit more, let's go to the next one. Come on. Okay. So if you think about your clients and where this process fits in, we have your Facebook ads or Google ads that go out here, right? And from here, now they're going to a landing page with a very targeted specific message. And the aim of the landing page at this step, the aim is to get a click to here. At this step, the aim is to get a registration so that we have emails going in the back. And then from here, your prospect is engaged onto the next step, which is the conversion mechanism, whether it's a webinar, seminar, phone call, whatever it is, right? And but before this, all this here, all this here, all this here is the technology part of it. That's where technology can do the heavy lifting for your firm. And here we have the screening, we have the qualifying, we have the booking appointments, we have reminder emails, we have 45-day follow-up funnels, we have email segmenting lists, right? We have referral generation, we have metrics, we have analytics, we have all those things happening behind the scenes at these places, right? These are the spots. So that all you're doing is clicking a button here and then clicking a button right here where you're actually calling the person or collecting a payment, and everything else happens behind the scenes. So the landing page plays a vital portion in terms of getting the right prospects screened, organized into the system, and trusting that it'll do the job for you. Okay, so in terms of the landing page, again, we want to make sure that you have a good specific landing page that's high value, that builds authority. And we want to try different measures with different objectives because, hey, it does make a difference, what your message is, right? You can try various mechanisms and have very precise, qualified messages so that the people are in the right place at the right time. And so using this, I'll give you an example right here of our again, bankruptcy firm, Cleared Solutions. Is it educational material that you can give away on the landing page? Is it a free walkthrough of the sample? Is it a don't-do list? Is it a template? Is it cases? Is it discounts? Is it advice with disclaimers? Is it a free PDF? Right? What high-value material can you ethically give away to a client? And that's the screening mechanism. In terms of developing the hook, hey, again, it's very simple. This is a template. Gives you 4 top areas to think about, and as you're making something, and it's easy to go ahead and make a hook from there, a lead magnet, so to speak, right? It's going to insert in terms of thinking about a landing page. Again, we use templates, and here what is going to happen is, this template will direct you on how to go ahead and slap in the different elements in your landing page. The screening and qualifying happen automatically, as I said. The more detailed you are, the more specific. Believe it or not, people answer these highly specific questions in my bankruptcy firm. But, what it tells me is the people who don't answer it, go through the process, may not be as qualified as people who took the time to go ahead and write all this stuff down, right? Everything is compliant. Everything's stored in a secure database. It gives you detailed questions so that there's no BS clients, no tire kickers, no people wasting time. It pre-sells and educates at the same time. It helps you make predictive decisions based on this information. I like to collect data from my clients because I use it for research, I use it for marketing, I use it to make predictive decisions going forward in my business. Here's a survey that I slapped in for you to show you how we use the data we collect from landing pages to make better decisions. A lot of the people who answered here, I asked them what debt somebody had, how long is it they're going to be debt free, what assets do they own, and this is what people answered. 21% said they're going to be debt free. They have over 60 grand in debt. 20-30% said they have under 3,000 and so forth, right? So at least based on that, it gives me an idea of how to make my marketing more precise, who to target, where to go after, or where to invest my money, right? Allocate my money with more precision. Sure, there's revenue generation, you're making all this money, but reinvesting and allocating is another ball game by itself, and it's important for you to have that understanding as well. An action thank you page. Again, this is a template that I just want to walk you through. Very important. Here's an example from ClearDebt once again on how we use the action post opt-in thank you page to generate referrals automatically. We have referral incentives in there so that as a person comes in, they opt in, they go to the second page, and now there's an incentive for them to share our message, right? And so if they share a message, we're going to go ahead and track it as well, so we know where people are coming from. In addition, we insert a calendar into here. So guess what? All of a sudden, my booking system has also been automated. So, from one ad in Facebook that I had to use, a person went to my landing page, saw it, read it, got qualified, went to my thank you page, shared it, right? So now I'm getting a referral. On the back end, the email automation drip has kicked in, so they're going to get information about me, and pre-selling systems are kicked in place. And on this page, I have my conversion mechanism. As a law firm, I prefer to have one-on-one meetings on phone calls rather than group webinars or group seminars that I host in some of the other ventures that I operate in, right? And so here I have a simple free calendar integration, and so all they had to do is book it on the second page. So again, think about your business. If you had systems like this in your business working independently behind the scenes so that you don't have to do any of this stuff. I mean, these are ads that we've launched many years ago that are still happening behind the scenes, right? What's the value? What's the power of referrals? And I want you to think about ROI again, where you have this sort of system operating where even referrals are being generated automatically. Look at this. These are all the people that came from this exact workflow. Excuse me. In my bankruptcy firm, where they have shared this message, and we have tracked all the people who have been generated from free referral sharing. On this page itself, there's over 160 people. So what I'm saying is that once you have these systems, these mechanisms behind the place with the templates and the technology, things will get a lot easier. In terms of content, building a template and building emails, it's very easy. We have templates for this that walk you through the exact system as well. In terms of even the client call, once somebody calls you, so as a person goes to second page, books an appointment with me, automatically I pull up this template and I go through this template to the T. Because guess what? It keeps me structured, it keeps me organized. And in my first call, my screening call, I'm just looking for 4 things, right? That's all. I'm not trying to close a call. I'm looking for whether they have the budget to pay me, whether they have the authority to make the decision to pay me or to get somebody else who can make the decision to pay me, whether it's the time, is it right now? Is this a time that they need to pay me? They need to work with me? And lastly, right, what else do they need, right, in terms of timing? If this is not the, what do they need from me, and then what's the time, right? So these are the things I'm trying to find out. If they're a good fit, do they have the money to pay me? What do they need? And is this the right time for us to get involved, right? And so that's all I'm trying to do in a 10-minute screening call. And there's a couple of questions I put down here so you can get an idea of how we host some of those calls. And based on the nature of the call, again, it can change slightly. But what we're trying to find out is who, why, what, and finally determine if, right? If I can help you. As we started this web training session, I told you that the first step is diagnosis. And so that's all you're trying to do too. If can you help them, right? If you can help them. So that's what this is. So I just want to do a quick workflow recap. We're almost towards the end of it here. I just want to walk you through what we talked about in this web training session, and I hope you've had a chance to really redesign and rethink some of these things in your business in terms of how to become recession proof and how to have a system that works automatically, um, flawlessly, right? Effortlessly. We have building the model, launching the ads, testing them, capturing them, selling them behind the scenes, engaging them with drip, converting them via webinars, events, a direct booking calendar, in person appointments, or even an automated way online itself with automated payment systems, right? And all that comes into your conversion mechanism. And the next step is to convert and scale. So, what's the bottom line? Hey, using technology, you can have a lot of information. This is the technology that I promised to show you, what I own, Influencer 360. Again, what we're trying to do is find out below the line and above the line metrics so that we have a clear, crystal clear idea of where our money is going and the entire life cycle of our dollar, right? What's happening to our investment in terms of Facebook. And so from this screen here, you can see there's incredibly detailed information that can help you make predictive decisions based on your financial math, how to predict a better outcome. Again, boost from referrals. I showed you this. It just keeps going on and on and on if you're doing it the right way. And ultimately, the more analytics you have, the easier it is for you to grow your business quickly and in the most organic way possible. One of the things our technologies again helps us do is identify influencers, people who are generating a lot of referrals for us, referral generators, right? Diane, for example, here sent us, as you can see on the screen, 50, 60, or 70 odd people. It looks like when I took the picture, I cut off some of the other stuff, but it can show you that one person who's sending me 70 people as free referrals. And now imagine all those 70 people shared it, and it in again generated 3 or 5 or 10 people. Um, how large would your database get, and how quickly, right? And what sort of revenue could you generate out of that, right? So again, the ability to generate and identify sub influencers, sub revenue generators, sub referral generators is massive, right? Tracking ROI 3, 4, 5 layers deep. So what's the point of all this, right? How does this affect you is the main question. Number one, building a system like this, what I've just showed you, the exact workings of my bankruptcy company, the step-by-step processes, including the ads, the landing pages, the metrics, and the benefit to you is that number one, it's potentially infinite ROI, right? It's a system that just keeps growing and growing and growing. You just have to build it once. For years to come, you can just deploy the same thing with very minimal changes. It's economy proof. It's not reliant on the economy. It's independent because people are in a database, and might I add, very large one. So you're going to have peace of mind every night going to bed knowing that next day you're going to get paid again. Okay, so that's the value of this system. That's what my intention of creating this web training session is, for you to understand and realize, hey, if things are not working out, then I need to change the way I do business, the way I conduct myself, the way I operate myself, the way I capture clients, the way I sell to clients, right? The way I'm converting to clients. These are all things that affect your business and directly impact your bottom line. And so you need to think about all these metrics. So here's the bottom line. It's quite clear. Upgrade your systems or disappear. If you're operating manually, it's time to get automated so that it functions independently. If you're not focused, it's time to get super focused and streamlined, right? Talked about the 5 M's, right? Publicize and educate with authority. And if you're running a business that's dependent on you, we want it to be a system that's monetized, right? Not dependent on your skills, but monetizes your skills so that you have money, control, and freedom at the same time. So more money, more control, more freedom, and quite frankly, this is all going to be a business that's much more fun to for you to manage and work with, right? So I hope that sort of brings us towards the end of this session. I have a couple more slides. I want to walk you through one or two more important things. but it gives you a good idea of some of the things that might be happening in your business that you want to try and avoid, uh, to be able to become recession proof, to be able to have a system that's robust, to be able to have a system that works on demand, automatically behind the scenes. And I showed you from my bankruptcy firm. I mean, we've been making millions of dollars in the past 10 years, made tens of millions of dollars with a system that, we hardly took time to build in 2007, that we've been deploying now for years and years and years to come. So, what's the next step? It's joining the implementation program. Everything I showed you here today uh, condensed into a short 10-week program, roughly 3 months, called the implementation program. It's a brand new pilot program that I started after working with thousands of people, and we've decided to put it together in a format that's applicable and that could be used by almost all of you. The payment process is very simple. We're going to work with you 3 months. Like I said, the cost of the entire program is only $1,500. I even accept three payments of $500, so that way it's 3 monthly payments of $500. It's straightforward. We talk about your digitization process, your publication process, any monetization process. It will help you figure out all of these things, each step by step. From, we're talking about, again, building the model, launching the ads, capturing your database, engaging them, pre-selling them, getting referrals, getting automated bookings, converting with ease, how to pitch and close, and how to expand. Every single thing what you see here is what we're going to work on over this project, over this pilot program, and help you install all those systems into your business. I want this to be an absolute no-brainer. As a bankruptcy attorney, I know that a lot of people make these mistakes and they need these systems. But you might be thinking, hey, is this going to work for me? Is this worth it? Is this valuable enough? Well, here's how simple I made it. I want to call it the no-brainer money offer. 90 days, try it out, right? This is a 90-day program. After 90 days, if you're not fully satisfied, hey, look, just let me know. I'll buy the entire thing back from you at full cost. No questions asked, right? I'll just cut off your access to the online portal that we've set up for you. And in this implementation session that we had today, as you saw, it's more about implementing, less about learning, right? Um, all the information that we've contained and we've talked about has been digitized. Each of the templates that I've showed you today have been digitized. We uploaded them all into a secure database. You're going to have access to the database. It comes with all the templates that I showed you. So that way you can use it at your own pace. You can go and perfect it as you have it. In terms of the format, this is a question somebody asked me earlier. Sorry, I can get you, Sam. In terms of the format, it's highly interactive, just like today. I want to make sure that it's something that you can benefit off in your business. It's structured so that you follow a systematic process. Every week we upload a new piece, a new model, a module, and a content piece for you to work on. It's community based, so it's going to be as a group. You join the Facebook community, and we'll send you private, um, you know, webinar sessions on there as well. But it's going to be absolutely in real time. You might be thinking, hey, am I good in a group? Absolutely, right? Just like universities, classrooms, programs, or a team, as a team, we're going to be accountable. We're going to hold each other accountable, make sure it gets done, and we're going to work together better as a group where, one, 10, 20, 100,000 brains are better than one, right? And so that's some of the things that we've kept in mind, we've tried, tested, and we found gaps in the past and have fixed them with this particular approach of this program. In terms of the strategy sessions, again, all the strategy sessions that we have are going to be case based. Your business is my case, right? That is the case. So, what's included in the program? You have all the course material. We have videos, audio material, as well as templates for you inside the portal. We have live calls every 2 weeks, right? Just like the one we're having right now, except it's going to be live and hands-on, much more interactive. We have I have one or two people helping me out so they can read out and answer questions as things come up, and we're going to be there to answer your question and help you take action. So think about each strategy session as an implementation session, because that's what they are. They're 2 hours in length and they're twice per month. And once that happens, again, the course material is for you. You have complete access to it. It's in your own portal. There's live calls, and there's 24/7 support in our Facebook groups. I'm there every single day, helping people answer questions, helping them implement stuff. And all you have to do is join in, and we'll be there, my team and I, to answer anything you need. So what's the next step? It's to just go ahead and start the program. As you see here, that is where you can get started, or you'll see the link also contained on this page, smallbusinessgrowthprogram.com/start. And I'm just throwing away a few bonuses here for the first couple people who join in. Number one, I'm willing to have a one-on-one strategy session with you. It's not part of the program, like I said. It's a group program that comes with live 90-minute strategy calls. But here, as a bonus for the first 5 people who signed up, every week we give away, and we'll contact you for this. I'll give you an in-depth, it's on me, it's a $300 strategy session where I'll help you personally design your new operatable recession-proof business and help you then integrate into the course. Again, in terms of ROI, really the question, that's all it comes down to today, is ROI. Can the system I showed you, this business formula, help you build a business that can hit $1 million in the next 12 months? And yeah, the chances are absolutely. From what I've known, it's one of the most robust systems in the world. It'll absolutely get you there. And in fact, like I showed you with the referral technologies and everything else we've built into the program, it's a matter of just hitting the enter ROI button over and over again, right? Without having to really invest another dollar. So it's infinite ROI in terms of that. Another bonus I want to toss for you is 2 free tickets. I host 1 and 2 day workshops, intensive workshops, right now in Los Angeles, New York, and Toronto, and I'll give you free tickets to 2 of these, to 2 people, 2 tickets per person. Um, get one and you can bring one other person. They range roughly between $100 and $200 a person. I think we have a next one coming up in Atlanta as well. And lastly, if you sign up, we're starting this case pilot program next month, but every top of the month. However, it's automated, so your program material will be uploaded for you. And as a third bonus, I'm going to give you 12-month access for this 3-month program. It's 10 weeks in length. However, at the end of the 90 days, at the end of the program, you can still access content for the next 1 year. Okay? Does that sound like a good deal to you? So yeah, just go ahead, and I hope to answer any of the questions you have. It's going to be completely hands-on. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun working together. You're going to have exposure to a lot of strategies that you never considered but thought you needed in your business. It'll have your own strategic team helping you, watch over your business, and give you the peace of mind you're looking for. And you'll also get to interact with a lot of other savvy entrepreneurs and business owners just like you, who we're going to work together and grow as a group. So if you have any other questions regarding the implementation program, the format of it, feel free to reach out to us. I thank you for joining this web training session again. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of the program and working with you. The more you implement the strategies that we talk about, the faster you can get results, and the more closely I can work with you to test and perfect some of these strategies. But remember, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is help you and empower you to regain control in your business, to have mastery, to be able to get a client or payments every single day, and the bottom line is have a recession-proof business that you can work and earn for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So once again, I thank you, and I see you on the other side. It's Sid Pedinti here, Small Business Growth Program. And here's the website again, smallbusinessgrowthprogram.com/start. You'll see the payment processing. I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook community and on the other side. That's it for now. See you. Bye-bye.